Welcome to round one of our Bloomburrow Mega Draft Top 8. After a bit of a delay here, we are coming to you with our feature drafter Zev taking on Keelan T. So we're waiting on the match to start. Mitch is going to be looking at Keelan's hand, and I believe he's running the Boros deck, if I remember correctly.
Yep. A whole bunch of Boros cards in the opener. I believe it's going to be a keep.
Yeah,
You
so he
see,
was like the only one not playing green as the main color, I think, somehow.
I
Um,
believe it. The aggro cards got pushed. So we have an Iron Paw Aspirant, Youthful Knight, which is the first striker. I think a 2-mana 2/2 first striker. Seedglaive Mentor, which was in the new set. An Archon of Wild Rose, which
okay.
synergy with enchantments.
Yeah, so Zev, we saw him draft the Selesnya deck, and we're wondering how many, if any, splashes he was going to make. And he is actually playing both black and red on the splash. We'll see those cards potentially as we go on here. He did draw out of a bit of a problem here by drawing a plains, so he could cast his white cards with his Sunscribe. So the rest of his hand, he has a Swamp, he has Banishing Light, and the Pileated Provisioner, the 5-drop flyer. He has Rosethorn Acolyte and a Sticky Tongue Sentinel.
Some interesting choices here. So Mouse Trappers in hand can play to flash speed. There's Seedglaive Mentor, which has haste, but it's an attack wall. But Iron Paw in hand is pretty good as Seedglaive Mentor next turn.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could pretty safely just play the Seed Glaive and pass if he wants to.
Yeah, there's
Okay,
an
so
Evolving
he's going to
Wild
play the.
too, which was another thought
Yeah,
because
so he's going to play the Mouse Trapper here then. Right, so Scry's at Plains. I'm thinking he's going to want that. Yep. Yeah, so I think his red cards were the Sunborn, the 4-drop Boros card, and perhaps like he had like an Abrade and the Torture Towers, and then in black he had a Tithing Blade, Order of Midnight, and I think the Iridescent Vine Lasher I saw. He did have his deck up right before he started, so he's running those on top of his green and white cards.
interesting choices. Now Hidden Courtyard's a tap land, so two tap lands with the Archon. So Archon's coming down next turn. It's Iron Paw or the Seedglaive still, which is a little awkward to put the counter on from Iron Paw on the Mouse Trapper because it does work this turn, but do you want it
I
on your Seedglaive
mean,
or
it'll
your Youthful Knight?
it'll get you in for 6.
Put it on Youthful Knight, it can attack in, so that's the only thought here.
Well,
And
but if you put on the Mouse Trapper, it taps the
yeah,
Acolyte and you get in for 6. We'll see what he
yeah.
decides to do. Either way, I think it's almost going to be slightly in his favor that he didn't get to play as Archon because Zev has the Banishing Light, and
Mm-hmm.
he might just feel the need to use the Banishing Light on this 4-3.
That certainly can happen.
We'll
And
see if he decides to do that or just play a Sticky Tongue Sentinel this turn. He could also play
decides to
his
play
Provisioner.
decides to play out Courtyard instead of Wilds, thinning the deck, getting the red.
Yeah, he could play a Provisioner, and then he could just go to an attack here if he wants to. No, he says, I'll leave it back to block. I want 2 decent sized blockers.
And Hardfire Hero, another thing that wants to be targeted.
So I noticed he did have a lot of those. He has the Flowerfoot Swordmaster, I believe, too in his deck. Um, don't know how many ways he has to target. I assume it's like not as much as you would in your normal white red deck in Bloomburrow, but he must have at least a few. So now this is going to be a pretty easy banishing light here.
Best thing to Valiants are like stuff that you can Valiant repeatedly, but
So
Ironfire
I do
Aspirant
believe the
isn't.
Archon of the Wild Rose has the extra ability of your creatures that have auras you control on them are like 4/4s, something like.
4/4s, yeah. Other creatures you control that are enchanted by auras you control.
So many
And have flying.
words. So many
And have
words.
flying. So they're all angels. They're
Okay,
all
well,
Archon.
here's a sticky tongue. So, you know, Keelan got that one nice attack in, but now not able to do too much. And I was just, I'm just thinking to myself, I don't think I've ever seen either of these two play a game of Magic. So this is like the first time I'm seeing either of them play since Keelan is in his very first league and Zev's just in his second. So think this is my first time watching both of them, so very exciting to see these players play at, with some very high stakes.
What's not exciting is two creatures that don't really attack in too cleanly. He's thinking of hidden courtyarding this turn, which might work out a little badly. Emptying the hand first seems right, though.
I mean, he's like a couple of targeting things away from being able to do some heavy attacks, but it's gonna be tough. Zev's doing a good job of defending himself. We know that Zev doesn't really have any like crazy big bombs to draw to. Um, he has some okay cards, but like nothing I would say is like a huge bomb.
I imagine Doofel picked up a deconstruction hammer somewhere. Could play a part in getting the Archon back, maybe? I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if there
know
actually is.
Zev had drafted one, but he immediately put it into his sideboard. But
There are at least two others.
yeah,
So
there was a few of them. Right, so the provisioner, I was a little surprised that he brought the provisioner back to his hand just because it's a threat that can attack. Okay, he's gonna take his scry here and sees a Warren Elder. That can't that can't be bad with the amount of mana he has.
I will note that deconstruction hammer would be incredible on this particular board. So I'm pretty sure he's running it. To be honest, three Valiant triggers
It
to be
would
had.
kill a 4/4 or a banishing light, so that
No,
makes
no. I
sense.
mean, you could trigger Valiant three times with
That is also
deconstruction.
true. Yeah. So Keelan deciding if he wants to block here, and he says, "No, I'm good." I mean,
It's
his life total is
everyone
getting
says,
in jeopardy here, but especially with a 3 power flyer coming at them next turn.
well, come and get it's castable after Hidden Courtyard's cracked, right? It costs 4+1 because there's a mountain in hand. So
Well, you need
mountain and come and
five.
get
You
it.
need five to crack the
Yeah, it's
courtyard.
mountain. There's mountain come and get it in hand. So
No, but
the
you still
five
you
and the
no. You need
courtyard.
five plus the
Okay,
land.
five and a
It's like
courtyard.
four and a white and tap. So,
Never mind. In my mind, it's five, but yeah, it's six technically.
but Discover has got to be better than Crumb and Get It.
Not bound to get the highest cost thing in this deck,
Right?
I imagine,
See
but
what he's got.
there's
Looks like just
a
a 2/2. Yeah, nothing of consequence here. Okay, so looks like Zev's just gonna rule the air with a 3/4 while a bunch of ground creatures just sit around, perhaps.
hanging around. Well, yeah, just come and get it. Only card in hand. Bunch
Yeah,
of Valiant triggers.
yeah. We got a
Around.
Sticky Tongue Sentinel, a second Sticky Tongue, and a Warren Elder here for Zev. So he's got the edge at this time. We'll see what the Keelan can find off the top of his deck. So Zev, I believe, he had a very unique deck in League. He had the deck that the curve stopped at 3, and he had like two Darkstar Augurs or something like that. I believe
Oh
that
wow.
was yeah. Like he literally just cut everything that was above 3, which takes like a lot of discipline, honestly. So
Wonder
very
whether to attack
surprised.
into
I was very
Provisioner.
surprised when I heard somebody was able to do that. I think he might be stuck here.
Provisioner
Like
is a good
stuck as in
blocker.
like I think like he may like his game may be stuck.
Oh, this Provisioner is a good blocker on this board. You can fairly attack
Yeah.
with it
So
really
his
easily.
stream has gone down. I think his game froze.
Well, well, well.
He
Oh,
just
did
got
it? I think I know what happened. It's logging him out because he got the download finished on his computer, right?
okay.
Had that happen to me before. It's starting to log in on his computer, and he started on his laptop.
Okay. Oh yeah, he messaged me. I guess everyone will see that when they watch the video back that he's messaging me.
This happens in
But
every game at
okay,
Magic.
we're back. We're back. We kind of never left, but we're back.
Yeah, if you log in on a different device, it starts logging you out.
Okay, so he played as Warren Elder, and while it was being cast, the game seemed to freeze. But I think it was just he was okay. Yes, he unfortunately did not get. Was not aware that there was a extremely large update to Arena a couple of days ago. So We did have to wait a little bit, but we're still here. So he finds the Caparakti Sunborn on top, and he's just gonna put that on the bottom. Even though he could cast it with the Rosethorn Acolyte, but it doesn't really move the needle, I guess, as
Well,
far as
this
this
attack
one.
looks like it doesn't threaten lethal, but it does because of the Elder, so you have to block something.
Yeah, definitely has to block something, but I mean, if Keelan's in a position, finds something that puts him in a position to attack, Keelan will have attacks potentially.
Yeah, I mean, tapping something down with Mousetrapper, come and get it. A crackback could be pretty dangerous if you just put one thing in front. Of
Yeah, so
course, there might be no.
we'll see if Keelan blocks in a way that forces a use of Warren Elder, because that means that the Sticky Tongue Sentinel doesn't get cast.
Okay, Sticky Tongue Sentinel is coming down, but of course, Dufel doesn't know that.
Yeah, because he could block in such a way to
Yeah, force it.
induce him to use the Warren Elder rather than cast a spell, but he doesn't know that he has a spell in hand. Okay, so
With Mousetrapper. Or
yeah, I'm
Mousetrapper.
a bit surprised because I feel like Mousetrapper is like gonna. Okay, so he decided not to block after all.
Maybe the most
He's just made
dangerous.
the block that will give him the best chance to win.
I mean, Alpha Strike here even gets you a Rummage, so like he's thinking, I'm gonna swing out next turn. Just no
Yeah, I
sticky
feel like
sentinels.
being able to target Mousetrapper like once or twice is going to be part of the formula that he needs to win
Oh
here.
boy, Might of the Meek. Someone has to do math. I'm not doing the math. If Crumb and Get It Might of the Meek here, you also have a Rummage trigger happening on Wander Glyph. It
But does
might
he
have
want
been.
to discard either one? He's going to cast Might of the Meek first, I think.
Now, Hardfire here is not going to be blocked, I guess, because it does do an extra damage if it dies. So you can just assume it's not going to die.
So we got two blockers basically, because Mousetrapper can take one down, and
Yeah, he's doing this main phase to see what card draw happens.
I mean that's completely fine. All right.
Yeah, of course.
So
Lava Spur Boots, what did that do? 1-0.
+1/+0
Ward.
ward haste.
Whoa. That is a trigger of Valiant a couple times. Although,
Okay,
how much it matters?
it's kind of
We'll
neat.
see.
I mean, Lava's for boots. That goes very well with Valiant.
Yeah, any of these one equip things. Now, interestingly, I mean, Hardfire Hero, he's still not incentivized to block because then it does
So
damage.
now he can equip to the Mentor. Yeah, this is giving me short bow trauma from all the times my opponent moved around short bow on their Boros creatures.
This might not matter at all. I didn't actually do the math, but intuition is do Seaglaive Mentor, then Hardfire Hero for your
Well,
attacks.
looks like he already did one. He's trying to figure out if he can just go for some sort of a lethal swing here.
So knowing what's in deck might, I don't know. Come and get it's gonna be cast. So like all your the rummage is not gonna matter unless he knows some out in his
Okay, so
deck.
he's just gonna attack. He figures the counter is best. The pump is best left on the Heartfire hero, which is probably correct.
It does still get its pump if you come and get it that creature exactly, but
Yeah, I mean,
I
and the
mean
blocks. I mean, he can block as to not die, but the blocks are not great.
yeah, it's you just die on the crackback. Oh, there's a
Yeah,
tramp mark.
I feel like leaving back like one other creature would have been okay, but
There's trample on the mouse trapper, so I didn't see that.
yeah, he can't. Yeah, Mouse Trapper is going unblocked, I think.
That's 7 unblocked damage. Then is this? What does that mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I see
Okay, he
11.
is blocking the Mouse Trapper now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I see 11 still. Oh no, Mousetrapper gets 1. No, Mousetrapper does not have trample. Sorry, Mentor
No,
does
the
not have.
Mouse Trapper does have trample, so he could target the Mouse
Yeah, no.
Trapper to deal 4,
Yeah,
6, 9, 11.
11 is what I counted. Yeah. I mean, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Damn, one off.
Yeah, you do the math because it's past my bedtime. So
Oh boy. Oh no, it didn't matter. I was wondering if you equipped Trapper with the Lava Spur boots.
Okay, so it
Uh,
looks like since it's not lethal, he's not going to show him to come and get it, and now Zev is going to win the first game. So a very hotly contested game, both of them. So they both started attacking early, and then well, Keelan started attacking, and then Zev sort of just played a bunch of creatures, and Keelan didn't have too much interaction there, and Zev was able to take over the board.
I see a gold pan in here, so liking these equipments for obvious reasons
Oh
with the
yeah,
cards
Gold
and stuff.
Pan, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, so like I mentioned, I think I covered all the splashes from that I mentioned before. Oh, he has the Nocturnal Hunger as well for black cards. But
There is no deconstruction hammer somehow. Didn't even make it here. Uh, I mean, there's what else do we see? Baron Bertram. We did go over the deck roughly
oh,
before.
he's playing the Baron Bertram. Okay, that's the
You get a copy of their. No, you get a Vampire Rogue.
so
A token enters to
Zev
the
I think is
opponent.
like trying to bring in cards, but it's not working.
Mm. I see a Prickly Pear. That should be good with Valiant. Nice little mercenary free trigger Valiant.
I don't know if there's something wrong with his arena, but maybe because he like switched in the middle or like he can't. He sees his sideboard and he clicks cards and it does nothing.
That happened because he disconnected during the game. I'm guessing.
So he might want to message. Okay, just going into the game.
Yeah, when you disconnect during the game, I think that happens.
Okay, so I think he's just okay. They must have spoke in private message because, or at least
Hmm.
if they didn't, perhaps somebody should get in touch with Keelan. But I assume he messaged him. We've just got all possible strange things that cause delays happening today.
They're related though, because of the downloading on one device and then
All right, so it
being
looks
logged out.
like whatever bug locked his sideboard is fixed now. So that's
It's not.
good.
I mean, it happens when you log out when you disconnect during a match. It does
Okay,
that.
so he's quickly brought in a market gnome, a sonar, and two sonar strike. I think
Sonar strike can be defensive, but you're not going to gain the life like normal.
he took out a Order of Midnight because it just seems bad on the splash
Can't block.
when you're on the draw.
You
Yeah,
can't
it
block.
seems better for like drawn out games. Interesting that he's playing the Order of Midnight, but not playing the Curious Forager, the the squirrel that gets something back.
Yep.
Okay, looks like he's just getting rid of the black altogether. That being Nocturnal Hunger, Vine Lasher, Tithing Blade, and the aforementioned Order of Midnight. And he's now realizing he didn't put basics. He does not have an extra plains or forest in his sideboard. So
I saw the 4 drop that has expend 4 and menace
yeah,
coming up
so
ready.
just a little PSA. Whenever I build my league decks, I just throw in a few extra basics uh, of my main colors, just because when you're playing direct challenge, you cannot add infinite basics.
You can add.
Like you never know
Uh,
when you're going to want to need a couple extra basic lands of a certain color or whatever. So yeah, because we're used to the draft client where you can just add and take out basic lands as you wish, but direct challenge you are limited by what's in your sideboard, but you are free to put as many basics in your sideboard as you like. So it looks like he might be done with the changes here. So again, he brought in some more defensive cards, took out the black cards, just not really didn't see great value in that. But he does have to keep his mana base basically the same here.
And we'll see. Oh, here we are. Game starting.
So any major changes from Keelan over there?
I saw the 4-drop with Menace Teapot, Steam Pot, or something. Menace, expend 4, deal shock
Uh,
opponent's face.
Teapot Slinger.
Yeah, I saw that come out. I didn't see what came in.
Okay.
There's maybe something else. So the hand is Carrot
Yeah.
Cake, which comes out instead of Consecration Mage, which could also be a 4-drop. There's a Raging Red Cap, which is double striker, dangerous,
Oh, 3 mana 1/2. Yeah.
and a Might of the Ancestors, so that can buff. Is that the one that buffs a couple
Is
things?
that an enchantment that gives +1/+1 vigilance to
Oh,
something
that's
each
it.
turn? Is that
Yeah,
what that
not really well
is?
played.
It
I'm
was
gonna
not
check
a. It
it
was
out.
not a heavily played, right, from
Yeah,
LCS.
but I feel like it could do something in many situations. It just didn't. At the beginning of your combat, creature gets 2-0 in vigilance, so he's got a red cap right now. So
Right. So despite not having anything, Zev did do the full control during Keelan's turn, just to maybe give him the scare here. Rest of his hand, he has another planes. He has a Sonar Strike and Ultec Cloud Guard. He has another Sticky Tongue Sentinel. He has that Giant Beaver, and he does have an Abrade, which cannot be cast at this time. So it just has a couple of things that can affect the board and a piece of interaction. So
all right,
um,
3 very decent options here. So Consecration Mage get 2 things on the board. This Archon of Wild Rose, which was drawn last turn, or Might of the Ancestors, basically gets in for 6 damage this turn. All decent options.
the Mage is
But
it's the Otter, right?
yeah, if you Mage next
Coruscation,
turn,
something like that. Yeah.
yeah, Corsication Mage.
Okay.
Now Coruscation. But yeah, next turn for 5 mana, you could Might of the Ancestors and put 1 Otter out. Not terrible. All
Okay.
right,
This
he's
just says let me start beating down here.
yeah,
Okay.
it is a
I
lot of
mean,
damage to back up.
that's this is a combination of cards.
I like it.
So he does have the Sonar Strike, but the Sonar Strike, because it gives vigilance, he has to wait till it's attacking.
Ooh, I mean that's probably an idea he wants to do.
Yeah. So he's just gonna pass. He does have the Sonar Strike.
Yeah, it's going to be a good use of 2 mana, I would say.
I mean, he sided it in to do this, right? To kill something cheaply. Because I think Zev, I think when he built this deck, he's like, okay, I want to try to be on the front foot, therefore I don't want this card that's a bit more defensive. But seeing that his opponent's playing Boros, sides in the cheap interactive card, and being on the draw also.
Might have worked a bit better. I don't know if he was able to tap out that turn, but it would have worked better if he waited on the Might of the Ancestors and developed last turn.
So an Elvish Archivist off the top is not quite what he's looking for. This Might of the Ancestors giving Vigilance is quite the irritant, I would say, for Zev. So he was able to do the nice little Sticky Tongue Sentinel, pick up your land
Uh,
when you don't have your land drop, so he was able to play 5 mana worth of spells. Always nice.
we have synergy in the house. Charmed Clothier puts an aura on something.
Oh,
This bunny could be an angel.
the Charm Clothe puts a roll token on another creature, right?
I think so. It's
Okay.
not highlighted now. There can't be too many Clothiers. Let me check that. On another, yeah. So it becomes an angel, basically, this
And
bunny.
and it'll have Ward too. Ward
Ward
one.
1.
I meant like
Ward.
Ward as well, on top of being
Oh, and forget
giant
about
flyer.
just that. It's got it's a 7/5 vigilance. Look at this. From a 1/1 to a flying 7/5
Okay,
vigilance.
okay. I mean, Zev is. I mean, he has like 3 blockers. I guess
There's a
he's
Corsication. Oh, okay. So Corsication Mage in hand. Does it trigger off any non-creatures?
yes,
So
yeah.
the lava spur boost is just drawn, which means it's gonna shock face
That's two
this
damage
attack.
out of nowhere. Yeah.
And it's a bunch of
I mean,
creatures.
I'm kind of surprised Zev didn't just double block last turn.
Then the Archon's free to get
Yeah,
in.
but I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
there's like this Might of the Ancestors. I mean, it's a card we didn't see much in LCI, but looking pretty scary here. I mean, it is a card where you need to be on the front foot, but I mean, it just makes it so hard for your opponent to attack you back.
Dufil's sequencing this right. The opponent doesn't know there's a shock in hand, basically. So Doesn't want to equip. He's just going for Corsication
Yeah,
Lavis for a
so
boost.
any creature that gets in wins the game
Yeah, definitely the right order.
for Keelan. So he's just gonna let all this happen, and
Imagine that at first strike and the rabbit shrinks.
he's gonna show him the bad news.
Look at Lavis for boost for lethal.
Boom, like it.
First time in history.
Are you sure? I mean, I feel like
You
it could
sure
have been
about
done
that?
before. Are you sure about that? All right,
World.
so a bit of a longer game in game one, and this one was a little quick here. I mean, I was saying it's the Archon. It's hard to make it work outside with non woe cards, but I mean he had a woe card. He did have another Wilds of Eldraine card to put that roll token on the bunny.
Looking over the sideboarding here. If you click something, I missed it because I always tend to look away, but nothing yet that I saw. I see another way to put an enchantment on something with a Besotted Knight. Of course, we've seen that rare Archon drop on both games so far.
I mean, card's just good.
Yeah, I'm saying you don't need to put
I'm
all
looking at
your
Paw Patch Formation here in his sideboard. That one is
top.
looking mighty fine here. And the Market Gnome that he brought in for the last game, he took out. That's the 1 mana 0/3. But yeah, Paw Patch Formation looking pretty good,
Uh,
I would say.
well, there's not that many things that are targeting opponent for this side anyway. Not a bad card anyway, but most things are targeting his own creatures.
Well, he saw the Archon and he said, let me have an extra way to interact with that 4/4 flyer.
Oh, Paw Patch Formation? I was thinking that was the Offspring. I'm confusing that card, I think.
No, it's the instant you can destroy an enchantment
Oh,
or destroy a flyer or make a food.
never mind. I was thinking it was an
Oh,
Offspring guy.
no, the Paw Patch Formation he brought in
Pick
seems
out,
good.
pick up a Harvest Tide Rabbit synergy thing. I didn't quite catch what came in, but the 3 mana 3/3 with Rabbit synergied out.
The Harvest Right
One,
Host? Okay.
yeah. One lander's being mulliganed. 5 lander. That's not
Probably
good
has probably has
with
to
no
be.
play. It's a seismic monster, so when I come and get it with 5 lands, that's not good for aggro.
Yeah, but how much of a better five are you expecting to find here?
You gotta draw your right cards. Basically, he goes for a second mulligan, and very
Yeah.
sadly, one plains
Uh, I
and a crackle
mean,
with power.
uh, yeah. I mean, Zev's got a pretty nice functional hand here. He's got a Braided Bluffs, which is the red-white land, and a forest, so his three colors are set to go. He's got the Sunscribe, the 2/2, Banishing Light, Holy Cow, Torch the Tower, and Paw Patch Formation. So he's got two creatures. He's got some interaction. Uh, so what's Keelan's eye looking like
I mean, the
aside
last draw
from?
was a mountain, which is great because the
Okay,
Valley Quest color was also drawn, so that's a 2 drop. That was
okay.
also on home. And that lets you scry when you start putting your Flowerfoot Swordmaster. So
All right.
decent for how it started. A Vanguard of the Dusk Rose. I'm trying to remember what that is.
Is that the 2 mana 3/1? I believe you could sack something to give it indestructible. Something
Uh,
like
it is a 2 mana Vanguard of the. Oh, it's not. It's Vanguard of the Rose. That's why, not Dusk Rose. Yeah, yeah. It's give something indestructible. Tap it. Sack a creature to give it
that. Give itself
indestructible.
indestructible. Yeah.
So could be annoying. There's a Besotted Knight, and of course, its quest
So
color not
I
going to be as
think
good. And
Zev is instead of playing a creature, I think he's considering just killing this Belly Quest Crawler, and the way to do that was what we're seeing right here, which is make a food and sack it to torch the tower.
nice little sequence.
Yeah,
Gonna want to hit a land here because he's got force. He could cast a spell, Flowerfoot Swordmaster.
yeah. So he
Oh,
keeps a glass casket on top. All right, so here's a 3/1,
yeah. The draw was a Thistledown players. 3 mana 3/3.
3 mana 3/3. Okay, so he did end up with quite a lot of mouse cards. I will say that at least, as we
Mm-hmm.
saw in the first game. Right here comes the 2/2.
The hands have the even number of cards. Look at
Yeah,
that.
so he has a giant beaver coming next turn. He's going to play Holy Cow here, uh, since he didn't
Mana.
play his Sticky Tongue Sentinel. It'll be the Holy Cow that's coming down, followed by a beaver. So Keelan is very much in danger of falling behind here, and this 1/2 is not not what's going to pull him back in, unfortunately.
Rather that or put a
Yeah.
Besotted Nymph Aura.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, when you don't have lands, your options are few. So,
I will say one more line to get stuff kind of rolling. But he's falling behind.
I mean, these scries are just really nice. All right, here's a beaver. This is going to be a tough one to get out of, sadly, with the lack of lands.
There's a land here. And that unlocks Thistledown or Seedglaive Mentor for the turn, it seems.
Yeah, but with the Banishing Light and Glass Casket in hand, it's gonna be tough.
Those are both good options.
Okay, so interesting to see how Zev decides to deploy his cards this turn. I think he's going for.
No white. No white
He
tapped.
might be doing Sticky Tug Sentinel, pick up land, play Glass Casket.
Yep, nifty.
Yep.
Didn't want that holy cow value.
And then he can saddle and just attack all. Yeah, the other option here was to play the Cloud Guard and saddle, but he said, let me remove a blocker here. I don't want to get this game over with.
Seems right.
All right. Yeah, so I mean, unless Keelan can play two things, he or remove something, he is dead because there's a Banishing Light in hand. So if he just plays one thing and passes,
It's gonna be a Besotted Knight adventure on this, making it a 2/2 to survive at 1 health. But yeah, it's not gonna work.
the Banishing Light, he can still pay for the ward.
Not to survive. Yeah, I mean, best case scenario, he survives at like 1 health and full board, but or 1 health or full board. But it's gonna be a GG, it seems.
Yeah, so you know, no expert analysis required here when a player mulls to 5 and gets stuck on 2 lands. But congratulations to Zev for his first round victory, and we'll be following him in the second round, which will begin probably very shortly.